All right. Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday, May 18th, and I'm going to call this meeting to order. Additions to the agenda. I would like to clarify, we will be using the executive session this evening for the appointment and evaluation of a public official. Should there be any action taken, we will certainly notify the public. We will also, under new business number 3, we have received a resignation from the advisory committee for the fire department, and I would like to accept that at that point. Are there any other additions to the agenda? Yes, Wendy.
The fire chief was going to give a report under department committee reports. And
Yes.
then we were also you're going to reappoint the fire warden and the deputy fire warden, and that would be under new business also. So that would probably be number 4 then.
Okay, so yes to the fire chief if he joins us, which he is right now. We do need to clarify, because last year we appointed the fire wardens of Jesse Jobin and Jay Gilden. And that is supposed to be, it's either a 3 or a 5-year term. So I would ask that we check with the state and find out if that paperwork was submitted properly before we go through with this nomination. And if it was not, then we could do that June 1st. We still have time for that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So can we reach out to the state and clarify that, please? JJ did call me today and was very confused. So.
Yes, and I heard from him also. Yes, I can check that out.
Okay, great. So with no other additions to the agenda, are there any public comments on items that are not on the agenda? Seeing none. Alex, I'm going to let you go ahead and give us an update and we'll get you out of here. I know you got some trainings to go to and we don't want to hold you up from that. So go ahead, Chief. You are muted, sir.
There we go. How's that?
That's much better.
Okay. I got too many Zoom calls going on right now. Trying to figure out which one I'm in. Some updates. I mean, we've been continuing with our training. We've slowed down a little bit. We're down to 1 night a week now for consistent training. We're still getting some folks showing up on Thursdays to do some supplemental stuff, to do some further education. We've had a fair call response as far as personnel goes. We've had a pretty good turnout for the calls that we have had, and we're plugging away. We've still got a lot of work to do, but we're moving forward. So. You guys wanted to take a look at the budget tonight and do some prep for town meeting? That was my understanding.
Sorry, I'm trying to shut off some other internet stuff here as I'm lagging. So you did submit the updated budget and took off a line item and rolled that into the officers. And I think that's really the only change that you've made there, correct?
We did, let's see, the changes that were made. So the assistant fire chief stipend line was depleted, since we're not gonna fill that position at this time. And then the line officer stipend line was decreased because the number of officers that we were looking at in December has gone down, and so we adjusted that accordingly, which then in turn made some adjustments to the FICA line. We did increase the supplies a little bit, just because I'm looking at what my budget is this year and just how things are trending with that, and it looked like a couple $100 extra in there would be prudent. And then let's see, training, travel, and conference rescue. I did put an extra $500 in there because we're looking to send a couple guys through the EMT class in the fall. And that's going to be fairly costly. And then the travel reimbursements, which is the gas cards, I bumped that up to 6,000 because of the way we're trending right now. And I just want to make sure that that's a line that we have plenty in there for, because I don't think that was being used properly in the past. So
I would agree with you. So what is your bottom number there, Chief?
121, 360, 308. So there was a change from the original proposal. I think it's like $200 or $300 less, but it is roughly the same.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for the chief? While we have him here. Wendy, I see you. Go ahead.
Yeah, just as far as the process to change the budget goes, it's a pretty big deal at this point because we warned the budget at a certain level. And if we change this number, then the entire budget changes. So Article 4 changes. And we would have to make that change at town meeting, which could be confusing. So what I suggest, and I talked to Cindy about this, is that you go ahead with the budget as proposed, with the understanding that the chief can use it the way you're choosing, you want to, chief, as long as you don't go above the total amount for your department. You can spend different amounts within the line items, and you can overspend line items as long as you underspend other line items so that the total isn't higher than you're allocated, because the town meeting budgets as a department, not as line items.
That makes sense, Alex?
Yeah, that's fine with me. So I guess I just want to make sure that that we're being transparent. I don't want to, and I think, when we first sat down and looked at this budget, I was 2 months into it, and now I'm only 6 months into it, and I don't think I know any better, but it's, there's still a little bit, it's starting to be a little bit clearer now as to where things are trending and where things are heading. So that, I guess that would just be my biggest thing would be, we can leave it the same, but I just wanted to be clear with the townspeople as to, where that might be heading. So.
Well, if you like, I can make an exhibit that would be part of the packet that would show the anticipated expenditures and where you're spending them.
Okay, that's fine.
That works for you, Chief?
That works for me.
You had a couple of guys and one potential girl, I don't know if she ended up going, that went to firefighter 1. Where are they at in that process?
So we have one that's still active with it. The other two, let's see, one of them, she got busy with school and wasn't able to do it. And then the other one's no longer with the department. So there's one who is in firefighter 1, and he is scheduled to finish in June, I believe.
Okay.
Middle of June. He's been going straight out with it. It's been pretty crazy.
And he's still finding time to make a bunch of calls from the looks of it as well.
Yep, and he's been here 2 to 3 nights a week with the rest of us. So
good. Alex, we've seen some good press in Brattleboro Reformer. We've seen some shout outs to you guys on Facebook. I got to say that is a vast improvement from where we were this time last year and years prior to that. So congratulations on that. It's great to see. It's great to see the leadership as well as the guys responding to that, guys and girls. And just the fact that it feels like a complete 180 from where we were, and it's appreciated, and you deserve congratulations for that.
Yeah, well, a lot of that's definitely on the guys here who've been working hard too. So I'll certainly pass that on to them.
Perfect.
No, I think
anything else for the chief? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
No, the only other thing was I imagine most of you see now that the pump trailer is up on the auction block. So far, I'm happy with the results. I mean, usually the last minute's when the price goes up, so we'll see where that ends up, but it looks encouraging.
Good.
So,
Great. Anything else for the chief so we can kick him to his training here? Nothing. Alex, thanks for joining us. Stay safe and have a good night.
all right, we'll see you guys on Sunday.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Alex, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
All right. Next, we have the COVID-19 update. However, Mr. Emery is not here, so he has sent an email out this evening, and Mark is not able to join us either. So yesterday's numbers were 29 new cases with 11 hospitalized and 1 in the ICU. Total people that have been vaccinated are 288,666, and 52.8% of the 16 plus population. This is the lowest daily number that they've seen in 6 months. To 12 years old and up, and pop-ites without an appointment are also all around the state. And you can get that information on healthvermont.gov/myvaccine. The governor has extended the state of emergency until June 15th. That is the recommendation of David as well as Mark Snow that we follow suit. And I see no reason that we would not continue to do that. The Masks Vermont is in the transition stage for masks and distancing requirements following the CDC guidelines. The most recent thing from the governor is that if you are fully vaccinated, masks are no longer required with exceptions like schools, healthcare, prisons, etc. Unvaccinated or partially vaccinated are still to follow the mandate of mask wearing. Municipalities or businesses can implement stricter guidance if they so choose. And in mixed settings, inside or out, it is recommended that the guidelines of mask and distancing be followed. Therefore, we think it should be in the best interest of the public and our residents to follow the guidelines for the upcoming town meeting on Sunday, May 23rd. And we've had a couple of conversations about that, and all kind of agree that we will just assume that nobody is vaccinated. We will still require that the masks are worn. If you're not going to wear one, then you're welcome. But the amount of seniors and elderly that will be there, we are going to still require that masks are worn for a town meeting. So that's all I have for an update from Mr. Emery. I would ask if anybody has any questions, but I can promise you I'm not going to have the answers should you have any, but I would.
Keep freezing.
Approval of minutes from May 4th, please. Any corrections for the May 4th minutes?
Mr. Chair, I move we accept the minutes as printed.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Mr. Dunkley to approve the May 4th minutes as written. All those in favor say aye. Michael?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jean?
Abstain.
Sandy?
Aye.
Chris is an aye. Next, the treasurer's report, please, Jean.
Okay. All righty. I move that we approve payment of the following warrant. 22T Accounts Payable, $50,376.56. 18S Payroll, $7,508.62. And 19S Payroll, $7,414.11.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Harris. All those in favor, please say aye. Michael?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Sandy?
Aye.
Chris is an aye. We also have been asked to approve the expense of $33.46 for a member of the Planning Commission to attend the Vermont Council on Development Summit this month.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I heard Gene first, so
Okay.
all those in favor, please say aye. Michael,
Aye.
Gene,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye. Aye.
Sandy,
Aye.
Aye.
aye. Sorry, my dropping out here.
You
All
are.
right, next we have here for a pay-as-you-throw report.
This is Bob Spencer. I'm Director at Wyndham Solid Waste District. And we have Sandra Rulowich, who is the town's representative to the Board of Supervisors of the district. And I believe Wendy distributed a memo to you folks, and I don't know if you want to, if you have it in front of you in your packets or not. From me, dated April 28th. And I don't plan to read it, so I just thought I could touch the highlights and then open up for discussion if that's how you want to proceed. So going back to a meeting with the select board on February 11th, where we had done an analysis of the overall solid waste program and costs, the entire program for Vernon. The next request through Sandra from the board was to evaluate the pay-as-you-throw program. The Solid Waste District has a grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to provide such more detailed technical assistance to our member towns. So we're doing this with some federal funding. And we're pleased to be able to help the towns, particularly Vernon, which has actually stepped up asking for more services than other towns so far, which is great. Sandra really did an extensive amount of work because it took a review of 3 years worth of invoices. And those invoices are from Triple T Trucking and Brattleboro Salvage. They're sister companies. Triple T Trucking invoices are for the collection of trash and recycling, and Brattleboro Salvage is the tip fee for trash and the tip fee for recycling. Cindy Turnley was a big help, as you can imagine, because she had to compile all this information and get it to us. Sandra generated a series of spreadsheets, which we included with the memo. And one of them is a summary of the 3 years of costs. And we did a bar chart at the bottom of page 1 showing the pay-as-you-throw revenue versus the cost of trash collection and disposal, and one showing the pay-as-you-throw revenue versus all the solid waste costs, which includes recycling, town collection of buildings, town buildings, and the assessment charged from the Wyndham Solid Waste District. So really what we did is confirm that as of last fiscal year, the pay-as-you-throw bag revenue is now paying the full costs of trash collection and recycling, which is the goal of this program by the state. It's not mandatory that it totally cover trash and recycling, but they recommend it because that's the idea that people buying bags will make a decision to throw materials that are recyclable into the recycling bin versus the trash bin. And lo and behold, Vernon has really done that to such a great extent that we now collect more tons of recycling than we do tons of trash. So I actually think Vernon is a model for how they've implemented pay-as-you-throw. I mean, it took quite a few years to make it equalize or exceed the costs. And if you recall, there was a solid waste committee a year ago that analyzed the bag prices and recommended that the town reduce the bag price for the small bags. Number one, we had an excess inventory, but we thought more people would buy the small bags because it's less expensive than the large bags per unit. And it appears to be working. The findings in the bullets on page 2 are what I just said. We also documented that the cost for curbside recycling and has gone up about $33,000 a year, and the cost of trash collection has decreased by $25,000. So again, pay-as-you-throw is affecting people's decisions. And it appears it may be saving the town money. We have total annual costs for the town of Vernon for all solid waste programs, including the assessment from the district. It's just under $150,000 a year. So this is a fairly large item in the annual town budget, which is why you said, let's get some review of it. We can't really nail down the exact tonnage that comes from residents because the trucks from Triple T also collect the town office buildings. And that's something that is okay, but it doesn't allow us to track as closely as we might otherwise. There's also a question that we raise for the select board to maybe consider when you do your annual audit for the town, is that's how the costs are actually assigned to the various budget numbers. And it's something we didn't evaluate. It's just that there's differing numbers on each invoice, handwritten numbers versus, which are Cindy's, versus the invoice numbers. The dollar amounts paid each month, which you guys review and Jean signs off on behalf of the board, they reflect these two different numbers. And it doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with it. It's just that we don't really understand the system, and it's just something that makes it more difficult to nail down the actual costs. Also point out that if the town wanted to get more sophisticated in its pay-as-you-throw program, there are probably other accounting procedures available for tracking pay-as-you-throw bag sales, revenue, and all expenses. And I did get some links to those from some organizations, but I'm not sure it's necessary. But if you had staff time, it might be interesting. We also learned the town highway garage has separate collection services by Franklin & Son and is not part of the town's municipal building collection program. That's fine. It's just something we were surprised to see. Also, the final point is that the town's assessment from Wyndham Solid Waste has decreased significantly over the last 6 years, as have all the member towns, as the total assessment has decreased totally. And it's down over $12,000 in 6 years. So it was almost 27,000 in 6 years ago, and it's down to about 14,500 now. And that's information Sandra knows a lot about as she attends our meetings and reviews our monthly statements and our annual budget. Sandra, you were going to say a couple things about the process and possible next steps. And also we have opened it up to questions. So, but let's let Sandra say what she was going to say.
You're muted.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
you're hearing me? Okay, well, you'll let me know if you don't. Just as your representative to the Board of Supervisors at the district, I just wanted to remind you that as you know, was discussed back in January, the USDA gives this grant to the district in order to give technical assistance to all the towns. And it's kind of a first come, first served thing. So we got in line pretty early. And there is still money allotted for you, for your use. If you want the district to provide you with a list of options, other options in town solid waste handling, along with, you know, the cost, the procedures, the, you know, as much as you would need to know in order to change your approach and anything. And you know, because of the sorrow over losing the cow dumpsters, if you wanted to look into that, the options that you would have now for handling that, you can, well, that could be part of the search for you. So you just have to make the request to the district, and that can be provided for you. Does anyone have any?
Okay. I apologize. I'm going to try and move closer to the router and hope that that fixes this problem.
Well, if there are no questions, Bob, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, just think Vernon should be proud of what it's been doing. And we do recommend that the town, at least on an annual basis, do such analysis. The district won't do this as an ongoing service. But we figured out how to do it. We have the spreadsheets. It's just a matter of plugging it in. I talked to Wendy earlier today, Sandra and I did, and once you have a new town administrator, it would probably be a function of that position to, you know, track this significant contract and how the revenue and costs are flowing.
Thank you.
So you're welcome.
So
That's our.
yeah, Bob and Sandra, I guess I got a quick question. So at this point, the town, it's not necessary to try to investigate any other methods of trash disposal other than what we're doing now.
Are you
In
asking?
other words, things. Well, in other words, it appears things are going okay now, as is.
Yeah, but as Sandra said, if the town wanted, and Jean brought it up at our February meeting, if the town wanted to, you know, look at what are other alternatives besides curbside trash and recycling, we could do that for you.
Okay.
And that would include getting out of the solid waste business like Guilford and other towns. It could include building your own transfer station and not having curbside program. People would get a sticker and self-haul. The other thing that we could look at is if the town wanted to add curbside food waste back to the program, we could figure out how to do that, and you'd have to be a request for proposals and specifications, but that's something we could do. I'm not necessarily recommending that because I know it's going to be very costly. But that's the kind of thing we could do. There's really not a whole lot of other options besides your own transfer station or getting out of the business, you know, not having any solid waste services. Just so you know, since the food waste drop off, we call it COW, composting organic waste dumpsters, we closed. About 60 families in Vernon have purchased excess stickers at Wyndham Solid Waste. That's so they could use the free food waste drop off and recycling and actually all services. It's $40 for a year.
Thanks.
Sure. So that's it. If you don't have any questions, I guess the select board will be talking about, there's 5 articles on solid waste. And Wendy and Sandra and I went over those today. And I believe Wendy sent you a summary of, I'm not going to be at the meeting, but Sandra will. But there's not a whole lot of questions to answer.
Right. Can I say something real quick? I just wanted to make sure that the board did see the summary that I sent today that Bob prepared, explaining the different articles. Because now's the chance to ask Bob or change those.
I told Wendy, based on previous town meetings in solid waste, it's most likely that the voters will vote to continue curbside trash and recycling. And pay their annual assessment to the district. Mr. Chairman, are we released?
He's stuck.
He's frozen.
Excuse me, I have one question. Among the board members, were any of you surprised by the final results of our survey of the services and the costs?
I was very happy.
Admittedly, yeah, a bit surprised, but like Sandy, yeah, pleased.
Happy to see that the program is paying for itself. Because there were struggles in the past with that.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the numbers, over $70,000 a year of revenue comes from selling the bags.
It's
Right.
amazing.
So it's the program is working.
Right. Very good.
All right. Thank you for this opportunity. And
Yeah, I just want to say thank you because the amount of work that you guys did to come up with this was really extensive and it's complicated with the different funds, the different flows of money. But I think you presented it well, and hopefully the next admin can follow in your footsteps, and having your spreadsheets would be really helpful.
well, as long as you are speaking, Wendy, I don't know if your whole board knows that you have a career position of running a solid waste district. So you know a little bit about this.
Well, I can appreciate your work.
Yes, indeed. All right. See you folks later.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Is Chris still frozen?
2 of them.
Struggling.
One was enough.
Oh, come on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
How
there
did
is.
this happen?
Issues, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. The sheriff did have some questions and I have not received the answers to those questions yet. You could approve the permit with conditions and the applicant could come back at the next meeting. They would still have time to change the parade if they needed to.
The questions asked, is there anything that should be concerning there, or any reason that we would think that we should not be making a motion on this?
I think we'll be able to work it out, and what you could do is go ahead and make a motion, approve it as submitted, with the understanding that a deputy will be present and direct staff, if there are any concerns, to bring it back to you if necessary, June 1st.
Did anybody talk to the post office? Because that's the time all the mail carriers deliver all of our mail.
I did not. That's really the applicant should take care of that.
I just want to make sure we're not approving them using that parking lot if they're not, didn't arrange that. Because we don't own that parking lot, I don't believe. So
No.
we can approve a permit without anything to do with the parking lot.
Yes, you don't have authority over the parking lot, and you also don't have authority over Route 142, but you do approve and consider this according to the parade and open air ordinance. So this approval would not allow them to do anything on the parking lot or on 142 if the owners of those properties don't agree to it. But I'll ask the applicant if she has spoken with the post office.
Also, have they provided the liability insurance certificate?
We don't believe they need to. Tim can answer this because they're all going to be in cars. There's nobody walking.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
just to clarify, the parade permit only requires a certificate of liability insurance when there are people actually walking in the roadway. Cars on a road are all insured by their own insurance carrier, and therefore they cover their own liability.
Okay. Go ahead.
Just one more thing. The plan is to have a fire engine at the beginning of the parade. And is that something that you guys are good with? Is the select board okay with that? Is that a normal thing to do?
Yeah, they've been doing parades all of COVID without us.
Oh, okay.
Is
Hope that's not a problem. If it's a problem, let me know.
Is there a reason that we're not just having them start at the fire department? It's, the visibility is better. It is town property. We're not interfering with a private business in town or a private parking lot. I'm just wondering if, I mean, there's really no reason they couldn't do that and then go start and end there.
Yeah, they're ending at the Vernon Green or Vernon Homes area, you know, at one of those places. I mean, there's a lot of buildings. I don't know which building they're going to end at, but they're only going to Vernon Homes. They're not coming from Vernon Homes. But I can suggest that to her to see if she considered that.
Yeah, because they say then they will reverse route to Greenway Drive and back to 142. Then be on their own.
I thought she was staying, well, they reverse it when they go down the internal road. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, yeah, so then after they go back through for their second trip, then the parade is over and everybody goes their separate ways, is the way that I'm understanding this, which then each car will be on their own. I would prefer that if we are going to make a motion and approve anything, that we are not leaving anything up for question about us approving the use of private property, which that post office parking lot is. My suggestion would be that we ask them to organize and depart from the fire department, especially since the fire department is already involved in this.
Sure. And obviously I'll ask the fire department if they're okay with that, to make sure they don't have any plans for that day.
Okay.
All right,
So
and
pleasure
if
of the
they
board.
don't, I'm sorry, so if they don't want to do that, then we'll bring it back to you on the 1st.
Okay. What is the pleasure of the board at this point?
Sounds good.
I agree with you.
Yeah, wait till this is reworked.
Well, the
So
way it's planned now is you wouldn't see it if it is reworked. You would only see it if they don't want to do what you want them to do. Or you can just say, bring it back to the June 1st meeting if that's better.
I would prefer that because I do not want this with the Vernon post office listed there. The post office doesn't own that parking lot either. I think that this needs to be tightened up a little bit before we put ourselves into a situation for something to fall back on us, especially knowing the owner of that property.
Okay, that's great. So then you don't need to take any motion or any
Okay.
action.
Great. All right, item number 3 under new business. It is with regrets that we have received a resignation from the retired Brattleboro Fire Chief, Mike Bacassi, from the Vernon Fire Department Advisory Committee. Mike was instrumental in getting that off the ground and working with all of the other guys there. I know that he and I had several conversations and he was not in a place to turn away from that position that he stepped up for until he felt that the Vernon Fire Department was capable of proceeding forward. So he felt that he could finally go and enjoy his retirement, and I can't say as though I blame him. So I think that we owe him well wishes on his retirement. And with that, Chief David Emery has suggested that we do not reappoint anybody to that, as he thinks that that committee could potentially be looking to kind of revamp itself after July and potentially become smaller anyway. So
Did we send them a note of thanks?
should we or did we?
Should we, or could we?
I think that we certainly should have something written up and sent to him for sure. And next we are on to unfinished business, and we are joined by the one and only Tim Arsenault to discuss the town meeting preparation, review of the draft handout, and any other items. So we do have the select board script in front of us. I know that Tim and Wendy and David have met a few other times, and I believe Seth has been involved in those meetings about the setup and the way that the town meeting will operate this coming Sunday. I did have a question. Did we ever vote as a board to close Burroughs Road for that day? And if not, should we be doing that?
I believe we did.
I don't recall that we did.
We
I
aren't
think it's probably a great idea.
I'm sorry,
know,
we
maybe
weren't
just-
proposing to close the road, though.
I think we should for safety purposes.
Well, people should be able to at least get to, we want people to be able to park on the west side of Town Hall.
Right. So I think that we should be closing the Governor Hunt side so that they can't access it from there where the people would be gathering on that side. Am I wrong in thinking that way, Wendy or Tim? I'm open for, I'm just thinking of, because on that picture that you guys sent, I see that there's some elderly or handicap parking along one side there. And I just want to make sure that we're not having pedestrians trying to cross roads and people driving. And I just want to make sure that we're using as much caution as possible here.
Sure. Well, two things. One is we found out that there are 4 handicap parking places on the west side in the parking lot. And we didn't know that when we suggested the handicap parking along Burroughs. I wanted to see if I can get that picture up, if that would be helpful to have it on the screen while we talk.
And then Tim, I believe where the police car parking is, there is a sidewalk that connects to the Governor Hunt side parking lot. So we could turn those cruiser parking spots into handicap parking for the day as well?
I believe we could, but I want to make sure that our residents with mobility problems have to walk as little as possible to get to the meeting.
Okay, and I agree with you, and that's where my suggestion for closing that half of Burroughs Road in was. So maybe from the edge of the west side parking lot, we close that off. People would enter from Route 142. And then we would close that road from Governor Hunt Road to that the west point. Disabled parking.
Can you see the map? I'm sorry, it's not readable straight on, but do you see the map?
Yep.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, where we had the disabled parking down here, the
Yep.
intent was that folks would come from Governor Hunt and come in this way so that they would be parking either right on the grass or just barely on the pavement.
And I think that, I mean, I guess we would have to ask a volunteer or ask for a volunteer at that point, but couldn't we still cone that road off at Governor Hunt Road and Burroughs Road? And if you need to park there, that we could let you in there? Just trying to limit any through traffic there that, you know, even those cars that would be parking there, opening doors, trying to get out, wheelchairs, walkers, any of that stuff. And then we have people using that road as well to access the front parking lot. I would be concerned that we are, especially if we don't have somebody there that is directing traffic, that we're opening up for potential injuries.
Right. Well, what we could do is start with it closed off on the east side and make adjustments if we have to. But start with it closed.
Or just make it one way.
Right, which is kind of closing it from one side. This is that's the same ending, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying leave it open from 142, but closed from Governor Hunt Road. Is that,
Correct.
okay. That makes sense.
And then we haven't checked this with the sheriff or anyone. We just came up with this today. So, you know, there may be other changes that need to be made.
We're getting down to the wire here, and Tim, are you with us?
Yes, I am, sir.
Can you chime in here on what you might be thinking here?
Well, I'm thinking that if we close it to through traffic, that probably would work. The real kicker is here, Mr. Chairman. I have no clue about how many people are going to show up. We could have nobody. We could have a lot of people. I just have not gotten the feel one way or the other from the community about the interest in attending town meeting on Sunday.
Right.
Is it too late, Wendy, for us to reach out to the sheriff's department and ask them?
Not at all. Not at all.
I think that we need to ask them to adjust their schedule this week, and we need a deputy in town on Sunday to make sure that we have no traffic issues, either on the 142 side or on the Governor Hunt side. But I think that there should be a law enforcement presence because there is a lot of unknowns here.
Right. And I can also get their input on the plan, and the sheriff himself is planning on being at the meeting.
Okay. And then if for whatever reason, if we could not do that, then I would like to see if we could maybe reach out, and because it is outside and we don't know what the weather is, it may not be a terrible idea to ask the fire chief to have one of his EMS standby with the rescue truck as well. They are usually at the town meeting anyway. And that way, if we had anything arise, at least they're right there with us and they could assist with traffic as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Definitely.
In regards to the picture that's on the screen, traffic, the setup of this, all of that, is there any questions, comments, concerns from the board, Tim or Wendy? Okay. Seeing none. Tim, do you have anything to add about town meeting preparation, any needs that you may have? I saw that you had a list of volunteers. Do you have enough volunteers? Is there anything else that you need from us?
I'm thinking, for the setup, we should be set. I probably will need to just review the volunteer needs for during the meeting, for people to check in. And I just want to reiterate what we've been saying all along. Bring your lawn chair, bring your mask. We have no way of knowing whether anybody who says they're vaccinated actually is. And so we need to err on the side of caution.
Agreed.
Which means that we're keeping to the protocols that we have been advertising all along, which will be less confusing to people.
Correct. Yep. Any other questions from the board? If not, do we want to just give this select board script a quick glance, make sure everybody is okay with this? Any errors, corrections, any of that stuff that anybody has noticed?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
If you don't need me anymore, I'm going to depart.
Tim, we're always going to need you, but you are good to go, sir.
Thank you. We'll see you Sunday.
All right. Have a good night. All right. Anything that has stuck out on this? Everybody good with it? Yes, Jean?
So on page 2, I think the article is stated twice because that's not what you're going to read.
No.
You're not going to read that, shall the voters? That's for Tim.
Yeah.
So just cross it out of your script. You're going to read the bold.
Yeah, it was like that in the original. I wasn't sure if that was intentional on that one in particular.
It just looks like it got repeated.
Okay, and I can take that out and send another copy
Yes, please.
without the draft weirdness.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
We were going to make Jean do all of them, weren't we?
Yeah, since she took a week off
I know.
and I
That
had
was
to
fun.
read,
It's
I had
great.
to read the treasurer's report.
I think you're the one that made the motion to ever do them.
Whatever.
All right, with no other corrections, at this point, I am going to ask that we get into executive session. This is going to be on the appointment, employment, or evaluation of a public official, please.
Okay, Mr. Chair. I move that the board and interim administrator
Yes,
go
please.
into executive session on the appointment or employment or evaluation of a public officer employee 1 VSA 3133A3.
Second.
Moved and seconded to enter executive session. All those in favor, please say aye. Michael?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Sandy?
Aye.
Chris is an aye. Okay, we went into executive session at 7:27. We came out at 8:15. No action was taken. Next, we are on to the town administrator report, please.
Right, just a couple quick things. Obviously, we're planning a lot for town meeting. Getting a good amount of interest in the admin position. And heads up that the planning commission is scheduling a public outreach meeting that's part of the VY planning project that's going on with Stevens and Associates. And that public meeting is to get input, and it's not the final meeting where they present the report. This is just a general, come talk to us about what you want to see there. And they're looking at June 2nd for that meeting. They haven't advertised it yet. Just want to give you a heads up.
And I apologize for having to backtrack here, but we never reached a decision on Burroughs Road and whether we wanted to close that, leave it open, or what was happening with that. Is coming up this Sunday, so.
Yeah, my understanding was to make it one way, which means closing it at one end, and get advice from the sheriff on the plan and have a deputy at the site at the
So
time.
could we have a motion to close Burroughs Road as needed based off from the suggestion of the sheriff and any emergency personnel?
So moved.
Second,
Moved and seconded by Mr. Root. All those in favor, please say aye. Jean,
aye.
Sandy,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Chris is an aye. Upcoming meeting schedule, we have our town meeting Sunday, May 23rd at 2 p.m. Masks are required. If you are not going to wear a mask, you can stand on the other side of the road. And the next regular select board meeting will be Tuesday, June 1st at 6:30. Motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Mr. Dunkley. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night, everyone.